Have you ever felt like there's a hidden operating system running our reality? You know, a universal correction loop that seems to govern everything from our own inner struggles to the rise and fall of entire civilizations? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty incredible model drawn directly from the Quran that claims to have decoded this very system.
I mean, it's a question that really gets to the heart of everything, doesn't it? Why do systems fail? Why do we fail? The material we're exploring today suggests there is a universal answer, a kind of cosmic source code that actually governs both failure and rebirth. So to really get this, we first need to understand the three fundamental laws, or maybe better to call them functions, that this model says are the operating system for all of reality.
Okay, now the first big idea we have to get our heads around is a total shift in perspective. Most of us think of life and death as enemies, locked in some eternal battle. But this model says, no, that's not it at all. Instead, they are two complementary functions, and they're both working to serve a higher principle, balance.
That master law, the one running the whole show, is called Raḥmān. In this framework, it's not just a vague idea of mercy, it's the active principle of balance itself. It's the regulator, the system that runs the whole correction loop to keep everything in equilibrium.
So within that balance, you have the first function, Rājim. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as a cosmic filter, a force of subtraction. Its whole job is to perform the function of death by stripping away everything that is false, hollow, or has no real substance. It's a purification process.
And the other side of that coin is Raḥīm. This is the life function. It does the exact opposite of stripping away. It preserves, it nurtures, and it gives continuity to everything that is real and true. So you see how they work together? Rājim removes the falsehood, and Raḥīm makes sure the truth endures.
Okay, now this is where it gets really, really personal. We've been talking about these huge cosmic laws, but the truly fascinating part is seeing how they operate at the most intimate level you can imagine, inside the human self. The source material maps out a very clear four-step cycle for how the self gets corrected. It's a powerful loop, and let me tell you, it doesn't begin with gentle guidance. It starts with intense, unavoidable pressure.
Step 1 is compression. The source points to Maryam's cry during childbirth, "I wish I had died before this," as the perfect example. It's that moment when maximum pressure is applied to your reality, and all the false identities, all the fake supports you've been leaning on, they just start to buckle. The law here is simple. Pressure reveals what's unreal.
That intense pressure, well, it inevitably leads to step 2, exposure. Just think of the story of Joseph and the wife of Al-Aziz. After so much denial, her hidden desires are finally dragged out into the open, and she admits, now the truth has become clear. See, falsehoods can only survive in the shadows, in ambiguity. The moment you drag them into the light, they get measured for what they are, and they just collapse.
And this leads to what might be the most crucial turning point, confession. Now, this isn't necessarily about telling another person. It's internal. It's like the prophet Yunus in the belly of the whale admitting, "Indeed, I was of the wrongdoers." The moment an error is named, it becomes something the system can actually subtract and correct. An unnamed error, it just keeps growing.
Finally, all of this culminates in collapse. And the ultimate example here is Pharaoh. At the very moment of drowning, he finally admits belief. His entire reality, his claim to being a god, it completely falls apart at the ultimate boundary, death. This is the Rājim function completing its stripping process, clearing away the ultimate falsehood.
But this pattern isn't just about our own individual psychology. And this is what's truly remarkable. This same four-step correction loop scales up, playing out across history at the level of prophets, peoples, and entire civilization. And this table here just brilliantly illustrates that historical pattern. Take Ibrāhīm, right? He subjected the idols to a functional test. He literally smashed them to prove they couldn't do anything, causing their claims to divinity to collapse without a single argument. Then you have the claims of Bani Israel being tested against reality, not just assumption. And Pharaoh's entire system, built on spectacle and noise, was revealed as just a weak signal that couldn't survive the ultimate test of death. You see? It's the same loop playing out over and over again.
So this begs the crucial question, right? If this Rājim function is constantly stripping away everything that's false, what's left? What actually makes it through the filter of death and collapse? And the source proposes what it calls the fruit law. Everything temporary, the ego, the physical body, the stories we tell ourselves, all our assumptions, that stuff gets stripped away by Rājim. But what's preserved by Raḥīm is fruit. What does that mean? It means real, earned, reproducible value. In a spiritual context,
It's our righteous deeds. They're the only things with true mass that can actually survive the filter.
And this brings us to the final and kind of mind-bending idea. This correction loop isn't just a metaphor for spiritual stuff or historical events. According to this model, it is a fundamental law of reality itself.
And what's wild is you can see these interesting parallels to the loop everywhere you look. In quantum physics, right, the active measurement collapses a wave of possibilities into one definite state. That's a form of exposure. In systems theory, error recognition is absolutely essential for any complex system to stay stable. In cosmology, scientific models fail when they're tested at extreme boundaries. And in information theory, we know that true information is conserved even as its form changes. It's like we're seeing echoes of the same pattern at every single scale.
So it all boils down to this one really elegant, unified law. Raḥmān, the principle of balance, is constantly running this correction loop. The Rājim function strips away all that is false, and the Raḥīm function preserves and continues all that is true.
And this completely reframes how we should view crisis. That moment of maximum pressure, the curse of the mother, it's not a punishment, it is the very mechanism of transformation. It's the birth canal through which something truer, something more real is forced into existence.
So, the source material leaves us with this final, very provocative question. It suggests that the ultimate purpose of understanding this loop isn't just intellectual. It's a direct challenge to personally embody this process of stripping away falsehood to become a living expression of truth. When will you become Qur'an?